Now we're going to move on to our reading from the book Something You Forgot Along the Way. And today's story is number 9, page 25. The Poor Window Frame. An inspiring glimpse of a mother and child. This happened once when I was riding a train on my way to give a speech. The car interior was spacious and quiet, with many unfilled seats. Feeling relaxed, I settled back and opened up a book I'd brought along. After a while, tired from reading and lulled by the rhythmical vibrations of the train, I began to nod off, only for my dreams to be shattered by an ear-splitting whistle and the metallic screech of brakes. Apparently, the driver had found an obstruction of some kind at a crossing. The shock of the sudden stop threw me forward, but I managed somehow to stay upright. In the same instant, the shrill sobs of a little child rang out. I saw then that the seats across the aisle in front of me were occupied by a young mother and her child, who had apparently been amusing himself by sitting with his forehead pressed against the window pane, watching the scenery fly by. When the train jerked to a stop, the tot's head banged sharply into the window frame. His wails grew louder and more frantic. Afraid he was hurt, I jumped up, but to my relief there was no sign of injury. Then I witnessed a scene so heartwarming that I was deeply touched. As the child's pain lessened, he gradually quieted down, while his mother rubbed his head reassuringly and murmured soothing words. "Sweetheart, that must really hurt. I'm so sorry. I'll rub it for you and make the pain go away. But you weren't the only one who got hurt. The poor window frame did too. Let's rub it and make it feel better, shall we?" The Todd nodded, and sure enough, he and his mother together began to pat the window frame. I felt chastened, for I had assumed she would say something more on these lines. "That must really hurt. I'm so sorry. It's all the fault of this naughty window frame. Let's spank it and teach it a lesson, shall we?" Such a scene is common enough, giving a toddler a vent for his rage and allowing the moment to pass. All too often, while life deals out pain, people respond by searching for someone else to blame. Perhaps, I reflected, we parents implant this response in our children without meaning to. "The child is father of the man," goes the saying, and surely parents have enormous influence in shaping the character of small children. People who think only of themselves and cannot empathize with others end up in the darkness. Those who would enter the shining pure land must take the high road of benefiting others as well as themselves, for benefiting others is indeed inseparable from benefiting oneself. I left the train wishing true happiness to that mother and child with all my heart. Okay, very good. So this is one of the very heartwarming stories in this book. And it's all teaching us about how to gain this ability to put ourselves in other people's shoes. And it could be even, when the baby hit his head against the window pane, we only think about the pain that we ourselves are going through. But, what about the window pane? It's always action and reaction. Like the law of thermodynamics says, for every action, there is an equal force in the opposite direction. That's the reaction. So nothing is one way or one-sided. There are always two. So if we can imagine what it's like to be the other person, what they are going through, then a lot of our sufferings in life actually kind of evaporate. Because when we try to understand the pain of other people, we can access the cause of our own pain and suffering more deeply. We ourselves become liberated from suffering. Yeah. So usually when we blame other people, because that's just the instinctive mind, the reactive mind, because the assumption is, well, I'm the good one. So if something is wrong, it must be the fault of other people. Then we blame other people. But when we blame others, it comes with some anger, some resentment, or grudge, or bitterness. These emotions very negative, and they trouble and torment us. And then we have to suffer when we feel so rotten like that. So we have to learn how to transform those negative emotions. Yeah. So if we notice that it's not just the other person's fault, I brought something to the table myself. If we can do soul searching and do some self reflection, then we can let go of the thought of resentment against the others. And then we ourselves become liberated from a lot of unnecessary suffering. Of course, it's not easy at all. That's why listening to Buddhism, the Dharma, becomes crucial. And also this recitation meditation here that we do daily. So I'm very happy to have you all with us here today. Good job, everyone. And today is Saturday, so we're going to have the Happiness Lab and at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And have a beautiful start of your weekend. Bye.
Bye, Yuchi and Peter.